race 2 in the Speed Group F1000 Championship here at Castle Combe. We're going to have a quick chat with pole sitter James. James, reverse grid for the second race, sees you on pole position. How are you going to keep the guys behind you?
I'm going to try and not mess up the start, and I'm going to drive a wide car.
Understandable. The heat seems to be a bit of a factor this weekend here at Castle Combe. How are you managing that?
It's okay. I mean, it's a good surface. I'm just trying to get back. I've been in the car for a couple of years, so I'm just sort of learning it all again, really. But the track's fine. It's beautiful, the new surface.
Brilliant. Well, we wish you all the best out there, James. I'll let you carry on with your preparations. And now it's over to our commentary team to take you through the grid.
Yeah, thanks Lloyd. Cars lining up then ahead of our reverse grid race. These are always interesting. James MacLachlan and Rob Welham on the front row ahead of Lee Morgan, one to watch, and Paul Butcher. Then it's Elliott Mitchell, Alok Iyengar, Dan Clowes and Michael Watton, the top four from race 1. Adam Walker is 9th, Andrew Wheals is 10th, and Richard Gittings hopefully will get out there for this one in 11th. So getting ready for the start then. James MacLachlan on the left, but we've got some quick drivers at the front with Paul Butcher and Lee Morgan 2nd and 3rd respectively. The lights go out, we're away and racing, and it's a good start made by MacLachlan. Not a great one by Butcher though, so Morgan comes through to 2nd place. And look at Clowes and Watton both going either side there of Elliott Mitchell and Alok Iyengar, and it looks like they're already going to get themselves up into the top 5 up towards turn 1. Side by side between the two championship contenders though, this could get tight. Morgan's got the lead, but who is ahead out of Watton and Clowes? It's Watton. Watton goes around the outside of Dan Clowes, who'll be kicking himself for that. That was his best opportunity, arguably all weekend, to beat Michael Watton, and he couldn't keep him behind into the first corner. On board with Andrew Wheals now as he works his way through the S's for the first time at the tail end of the field, but it's Morgan that leads the way. MacLachlan 2nd, Butcher 3rd, Iyengar 4th. He's had one podium, he wants another one. Looks to the inside, looks to the outside, can't get through at Tower though. Meanwhile we've got that's Watton, I beg your pardon, it's Watton getting my blue cars mixed up. So Watton in 4th, Iyengar still 5th, was dicing away with Dan Clowes there, but Lee Morgan trying to make good his escape as he makes his way out of Bobby's back up towards the final corner at Camp. And is a race win possible here for Lee Morgan? He should have arguably been on the podium in race 1. He definitely had the pace, but had that grassy moment coming through Westway and threw it all away. And that meant that he finished down in 6th, but that worked out okay because he benefited from the reverse grid for this one. Paul Butcher there getting squeezed onto the grass by James MacLachlan, and that's going to open the door surely for Michael Watton. Yes, Watton goes past the pair of them. Fantastic driving from Michael Watton. He read that situation beautifully, got past the two of them. Butcher followed him through, but then immediately runs wide on the exit, and so MacLachlan goes back through. Butcher back to the inside again down towards the S's. Who came out on top in that one? Let's look at the background. Butcher's gone through, so he's finally got 3rd. But he was 3rd anyway. Of course, Watton's gone past the pair of them now, so it's not really been any sort of a gain made. So now we have a real fight on our hands. Lee Morgan, former champion, versus Michael Watton, reigning champion and current championship leader. Butcher 3rd, MacLachlan 4th, then it's Clowes in 5th, 6th place Alok Iyengar. Then everyone else starting to carve their way through further back. Elliott Mitchell looks to have gone backwards off the start as well. That's a shame. He's running even further back now than he started the race. Michael Watton then up towards Camp Corner. He's got someone in front of him, off in the distance, that's Lee Morgan. But that's a sight that he has actually started to grow fairly accustomed to this year. He's not had it all his own way this season by any means. Of course, he'll always have at the back of his mind those concerns over the reliability of the car, because it has had some issues this year. Dan Clowes, on the other hand, has been really consistent, but not been really winning the races as regular as he could have done with. He's now trying to get himself into 4th position there, ahead of MacLachlan as they went up the hill towards Quarry. Didn't make it stick though, but that's an almighty fight going on for 4th position. Through comes Lee Morgan, then Michael Watton in 2nd, 3rd for Paul Butcher, and then it's all kicking off behind. I think Alok Iyengar was still in 4th place ahead of MacLachlan. Let's see, yeah, Iyengar 4th, and then MacLachlan and Clowes side by side for 5th, and Rob Welham and Elliott Mitchell side by side for 7th, and that almost went horribly wrong. Rob Welham there, you can tell he's a former karter. He's not afraid to get stuck in, and he gains the position ahead of Elliott Mitchell, or holds on to the position, I think. No, I think he was gaining a place there. Oh, but he's just run wide, I think, over the grass as Rob Welham, just behind these two. And where is he? Is he still in position? We'll have to check in a moment or two. More with Dan Clowes though as he begins the chase now down towards Camp Corner. He's chasing after Alok Iyengar for this position. And he's got some work to do to get there. You can see behind Elliott Mitchell, he's now back in front of Rob Welham. Welham just, I think, ran wide and went across the grass up at the Bobby chicane. Richard Gittings in behind him as well, who we haven't seen that much of this year. Good to have Richard back in the championship. Had those mechanical issues yesterday that forced him out early doors, but in this race he's been of course more competitive. This is someone else we haven't really seen this weekend, Adam Walker, who's been a star of the show earlier on in the season, but has just struggled, I think, to get to grips with Castle Combe. Looking to the inside of Gittings there in towards the S's, and I think he's going to go through. So place gain there for Adam Walker, but it's one of those circuits you either fall in love with instantly or it takes you a long time to get to grips with it. It looks like Adam falling into the latter of those two categories maybe, but he does gain the place there out at the far side of the circuit. Meanwhile, we've got James MacLachlan continuing to fend there from Elliott Mitchell and Rob Welham. Andrew Wheals just slipped back from the tail end of the field once more here, unfortunately, but enjoying his Sunday afternoon drive at Castle Combe. There are the leaders now. Lee Morgan is not really being caught here rapidly by Michael Watton, so it looks like Watton may well have found his match here in the shape of Lee Morgan. It's a shame Lee hasn't been around all season long, because you'd be sure that he'd be a championship contender. These two have gone wheel to wheel in the past, of course, and I'm sure Michael was happy to see Lee back on the entry list this season. But Michael Watton, although he's inching towards the race leader, he's not getting there all that rapidly. So back through the S's they go, so good battle going on for third in the background, I noticed though. Let's see, yes, Alok Iyengar just about still hanging on to that third place, but he's got it all sorts of pressure from behind, hasn't he? Leaders though down towards Tower once again, as we now tick into the second half of this second race of the weekend. And Lee Morgan, can he hang on? Can he take a victory, the first of the season, in his return to the championship this weekend? Yes, it's all changed behind him. Paul Butcher's dropped behind both Alok Iyengar and Dan Clowes. So Alok, as I said, already has that one podium. Could he possibly be on course for another one here, get his second one of the weekend? He said he drove better than he's ever driven in race one this morning, or sorry, yesterday, excuse me. And, well, could get an equally good result in this one. Across the top finish line goes Paul Butcher, up towards Avon Rise and Quarry again. There's Lee Morgan. The gap came down again slightly between the top two, but not by a huge amount, so Morgan just managing this quite well. But it does look as though he's having to push quite hard to achieve these sort of lap times, as you'd expect. Back through the the S's, excuse me. There you go, look at the gap they've got now, back to that third place battle that's going on behind them. There is the third place battle. Alok Iyengar still ahead of Dan Clowes. They're pulling away from Paul Butcher, who again just seems to be struggling this weekend. Then it's Elliott Mitchell and James MacLachlan. Then Adam Walker and Rob Welham in the background has pulled the front wing loose. Now that looks like it's as the result of a grassy moment rather than contact. We saw him on the grass at one point down here at Bobby's. Possibly he's had another moment that's just dislodged that front wing slightly. On board with Adam Walker, who looks as though he's catching the cars in front of him at this stage. Down into Bobby's, real pressure. You're sitting so close to the floor in these F1000 cars that you'll really feel every bump around the course, and there are plenty of them here at Castle Combe. It's been resurfaced a couple of years ago, and it's not lost any of its character, and you can see it's just got these natural undulations and bumps and compressions that really give the driver and the car a workout. Here we will head to Croft and Donington Park for the final two rounds of the season, and it's going to be a really, really tough end to the season for everyone concerned. The next round will once again be on the TCR UK package, for it all finishes in the middle of October at Donington Park. And now Michael Watton, oh, problems for Lee Morgan. Michael Watton, I thought he was suddenly catching Lee Morgan, and Lee Morgan's hand came out of the cockpit, and that is such a shame for the race leader, who was looking like he was fairly comfortably hanging on to the race lead, but the car runs into mechanical problems, and Lee Morgan, well, these things are quite highly strung, and unfortunately, that has put him out of the race. But Lee Morgan will be so disappointed with that, and unfortunately the chance of a really good result goes begging, and Adam Walker gains 2 places in one, because as he drives past the stricken car of Lee Morgan, he simultaneously was making a good move on James MacLachlan there and gains the position running down in towards Bobby. So 2 places gained for Adam Walker. Hopefully Lee Morgan can get that car back to the pit lane so that they can start repair work in the paddock between this race and the last one, get that car repaired and get it back out there for the final race of the day later on. So that now means that Michael Watton's been handed a fairly comfortable victory. The fight is now for second, where Alok Iyengar could be on for his best result of the season. He's had 2 third places, one of which was yesterday in race 1 here at Castle Combe. Now can he get a second place finish? If he can, he will have to fend off the man who's second place in the championship. Well, there's the answer to my previous question. Lee Morgan will not be able to get back into the pit lane. Unfortunately, his race is done, and that means that they'll have an even harder time of it, because by the time they get the car back to the paddock on the low loader and it's unloaded back into the awning, then that will lose them the best part of half an hour or so's worth of repair time. They're going to have their work cut out, the team, to get the car fixed for race 3 later on. So out of the final corner comes this fight for second place then. Alok Iyengar, Dan Clowes, nose to tail, and Dan Clowes looking for second position here. It would be a fairy tale result for Iyengar, but for Clowes it would be a really important one, because with Watton leading the race, he's hemorrhaging more points to the championship leader. He can't afford to lose any more than is absolutely necessary. So a second place finish would be better, goes without saying, than a third place finish. Michael Watton serenely continuing on his way at the front of the field, down toward Tower Corner again. And Michael looking now like he can just stroke this one home. Of course, he will have in his mind those mechanical issues that he had at Snetterton, where the car had issues in race 2 that meant he couldn't start race 3. He was looking good for a good result in race 2 at the time. At the moment, he's continuing nicely on his way towards the 8th race victory of the season. Paul Butcher there in 4th, Elliott Mitchell in 5th coming out of Bobby's. Michael Watton makes his way out of the final corner, crosses the start-finish line again, getting into the closing stages now of this reverse grid race at Castle Combe. The question is, who's going to be on the bottom steps of the podium? Will it be Iyengar second and Clowes third, or will there be a reversal of the position if Clowes can find a way through? That's certainly Dan's idea, but it's easier said than done. Back through Quarry, up towards the right-left at the S's, and then through the flat-out right-hander at Westway. Hammer down, and then they keep the hammer down all the way down the hill towards Tower Corner, which is where Watton is heading towards now. Good overtaking opportunity this, so whilst Watton doesn't need to worry about that too much, the fight for second place could get quite tasty down at this part of the circuit. Certainly a place where Clowes will be looking to try and make his move. And back down towards the Bobby chicane. In the background there, it just doesn't look like Dan Clowes has got anything really for Alok Iyengar. There goes Richard Gittings making his way down through Hammer Down, but Michael Watton is coming towards the final corner. Turns his way through the right-hander, out across the start-finish line, and I think he's got one more lap to go by the looks of it in this one. Through he goes, here's second place, and Iyengar just runs a bit wide. Look at Butcher and Mitchell there together as well for 4th, so there could be some changes here in the closing stages. With Alok Iyengar trying his best to hang on to this second position. Watton turning his way through, the reigning champion. He was the Jedi Club Class champion back in 2010. He's been racing in F1000. This is his 9th season of racing with the championship. Best finish before he was the champion was 3rd back in 2015. Then he took the championship in 2017 and is now starting to look hard to beat in 2018. You sense that it will only be mechanical issues that could take him out of this now. So Watton heading through towards the end of another lap. He's just put a lap on Andrew Wheals and turns his way, man from Worcester, down towards the end of another lap here at Castle Combe. It's a thrill-a-minute lap, even when you're out on your own here in the lead. It's a very, very enjoyable circuit to be driving. Comes across the start-finish line, now he sees the last lap forward, so one more lap to go for Michael Watton on his way to that 8th victory of the year. What's going to happen for second place though? Dan Clowes in the slipstream again, challenging Alok Iyengar on the run up towards Quarry Corner. Alok will have to defend, surely. They're also going to close in on Andrew Wheals to put a lap on him very shortly. That could get interesting. If they catch him at a tricky point, that could be what decides the outcome of second place. They're going to catch him on the exit of Quarry, so Iyengar will go to the inside down into the S's, but then where will Dan Clowes go? Let's see if we can hang back and see. There they are, still Iyengar ahead, and they've both got past Andrew Wheals without too much drama. What about Butcher and Mitchell though? Oh, they're going to catch him through Hammer Down, and that's where Lee Morgan caught Andrew Wheals, of course, in race 1. That's what put him on the grass. Not directly Andrew's fault, he had nowhere to go, but when a battling group of cars catches a back marker through that part of the circuit, you know that you're almost guaranteed some issues. So down towards the end of the final lap comes Michael Watton, and he is about to take the 8th win of the season and further extend his championship margin. Out of the final corner he comes. Michael Watton wins race 2 here at Castle Combe. Second place is going to go the way, I think, of Alok Iyengar. Yes, it does. Dan Clowes is 3rd, and Butcher will just hang on to 4th, ahead of Elliott Mitchell in 5th. So a dramatic race, a real shame for Lee Morgan though, but that means that Watton inherits the victory from Iyengar in 2nd, Clowes 3rd, Butcher 4th, then Mitchell in 5th, Walker 6th, James MacLachlan 7th, Richard Gittings is 8th, and Andrew Wheals rounds out the 9 finishers.
Michael, it appears even the reverse grid can't hold you back here at Castle Combe.
Yeah, I mean, great first lap. Actually managed to benefit from a few others battling to chase Lee down, because Lee was the one I was worried about getting away, honestly. I know he's very, very fast. And it was a struggle to keep near him. He was putting out oil from very early on, actually, so I was a bit nervous how hard to push behind him in case I made a mistake. And I wasn't sure how long he was going to last, and unfortunately for him, he had to retire, which was a shame, because he's a good guy and he's very, very good to race against.
Would have been a good battle, as you say, but you've come away with another victory. All help for the championship.
Yeah, this was a big weekend, I thought, for the championship, because we've got a 2-month break now until the last 2 rounds, and we had a not so great Rockingham, so I thought if we could score big here, it's a big step towards the title, hopefully.
Well, congratulations. We look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you.
3rd place yesterday, 2nd place today. Can you make that final step up?
I don't know. I'm happy, but I'm slightly disappointed with my pace in the second race. For me to win, I sort of need another half a second. So I'm not thinking about the last race at the minute.
Where do you think you can find that half a second? Is it down the back of the sofa?
I think I just need to be a bit more clean. I think yesterday was really clean. I think it's different when you're chasing, and it's different when you're defending. I think when you're defending, you're not focusing on your racing lines, but you're just like, you have one eye on the mirror, just trying to like keep the guy behind you. And I was also lucky that Lee didn't finish, so that helped me finish second as well. But now I'm happy. It's my first or second place. You never know, Last race, you never know.
Look forward to seeing you over there. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Dan, tough battle there. Were you disappointed to come away with 3rd, or do you feel that was the right result?
I think after a scrap with that with Alok, it was either of us, really. It really was. I mean, I passed him partway through the race. I got held up a little bit. He came back past again and was scrapping with James and Paul. It was absolutely cracking race. Really enjoyed it. But yeah, second would have been lovely. But after a race like that, I'll take it.
What can you do for the final race?
Well, we've had 2nd and 3rd so far this weekend, so why not the top step? We'll be pushing hard.
We look forward to seeing you out there. Cheers, Dan.
Thank you very much.